Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna be talking about Spider-Man. I know we've been talking about the Hulk for a while. The reason we've been talking about the Hulk for a while is because you're gonna just like Iron Man and Captain America and Thor, they all kind of lead up to the Avengers, and that's what I've been trying. And that's what I've been trying to do. I told you guys about um, Captain America, and I edited that one all to. I edited that one to telling you guys about everything. I did the Iron Man one where I just uploaded, and I edited it to where I told you about everything, and then where if I missed some stuff, that's why I did the editing. I did the Thor one, and then I did the Ant-Man one, and I just did the Wasp one. So I need to finish up some Hulk ones that are very, very crucial to leading up to the Avengers. And then when we're done with the Hulk stuff, I mean, it's not like when we're done with that, there's still gonna be a lot of more Hulk stuff. But when we're done with that, then we'll talk about the first Avengers. Well, just the first one. And and then the first Avengers. And then I'll put it all together, and then in like a compilation, and you guys can watch it. Okay, so now today, like I said, I've been talking about a lot of Hulk, and we haven't been able to talk about Thor or Iron Man, or we haven't got to any of those other comics of them. We've just been talking about Hulk. So let's get back to Spider-Man and his Avengers. Okay, so if you've never ever read the first issue of the one that I told you about and I edited for you guys, it doesn't matter if it's the one. I mean, I know there's two issues in it. It doesn't matter if it's the one where Spider-Man saves J. Jonah Jameson, like where like he's starting out and he like saved J. Jonah Jameson's son, or like where he faces the chameleon, or that's like what I'm talking about. Like if you guys have never read the second part, like where he's faced the chameleon, and you've only read this, and you think like Vulture was his first ever villain. I said villain. I want to blame you because over the years, I always thought that Vulture was his first ever villain. And I never knew anything about Chameleon until I read that issue. Okay, now let's get into it. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me tell you a little bit about uh, Vulture before we get into this issue. Um, okay, so Vulture, you know what? I don't really know like if there's any like much to tell because like Vulture, he's just like I mean like he's kind of like it's kind of like your um basic like if you run into like an old man out on the streets, he's kind of like that. He's kind of like a grumpy old man, kind of like hates the world, and he's kind of like that. He's just like a grumpy old man, very. I mean, he's not like a really old dude. Has to use a cane to get around, but he's just like he hates the world for some reason, and he wants to get back at it. And he also hates Spider-Man. So he's got this costume that's all green, and he's got these wings that oh man, I'm blanking. Oh, they're mechanical. Okay. It's like I can't remember what they're called. Okay, so that's enough about Vulture. So let's get into this. Okay, so you got your average Joe here walking, and he's got a briefcase, some unknown, and he's just walking and he's doing his own business. And then the Vulture comes, and he swipes the briefcase out of his hand, and then the guy says, "It's the Vulture. He stole my briefcase with a fortune in pounds." And then he's asking for help. So, Vulture, he's a new villain that just came on the scene. And no one knows who he is yet. And like I said, he's just like some old guy that you find on the street, and he hates the world, and he's just being some huge grump. And he wants to get back at the world. So, okay, and then, so this guy that works at J. Jonah Jameson's, work, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say, sorry, I said work by accident. At the Daily Bugle. And, okay. J. Jonah Jameson. Okay, got it. Says he wants a picture for his paper. But no one could get one because, all they had were from the editors. Okay. Okay, and then we pan to Peter Parker at school. Okay, and then everyone's all like, "Oh, I'd like a close up of the Vulture," and they're like, "I want a photo of the Vulture would be worth a." Oh, sorry. Yeah, everyone's like, "A photo of the Vulture would be worth a fortune." Now, okay, now Flash Thompson. Okay, let me stray away from the story for a minute. Flash Thompson is Peter's school bully, and he always calls him bookworm and a nerd, and he always picks on him. Okay, and then Liz Thompson is, well, they're not dating, but she has a crush on him. Okay, back to the story. I thought you'd like to know some of that little information. Okay, and then Flash Thompson, the guy with the orange hair, gives Peter the book and says, "Here, bookworm, take a look at what's going on in the outside world, or can't you read anything but scientific formulas?" And then Peter says, "Very funny, Moose. At least my brain isn't muscle bound like that of yours." Okay. And then the teacher sees Peter looking at the book, and then he yells at him to get back to his experiment. Okay. And then Peter Parker rushes home so he can get a camera from Aunt May, and he can take pictures as Spider-Man. And then we pan to the Vulture and his hideout, and the Vulture is looking at a newspaper which tells him that the gems will be moved to a different location. Okay. Now we pan to Spider-Man, who's also Peter Parker. Always gotta let you know that. Checking to see if his camera works. And then his spider sense is telling him that someone is coming. Not after him, but someone is coming toward the city. Then he sees the Vulture. Then the Vulture starts going after the Daily Bugle. Then he says he's gonna taunt his enemies. Okay. And then he throws a message to the cops, and it says, "I shall steal the diamond shipment from under your noses." And then the cops say, "But we must go ahead transfer of the diamonds. We can't let the city think that we're one criminal can change our plans. Okay, and then Spider-Man starts moving on the rooftops to get out of there, and then the Vulture hears him. And then the Vulture turns around and he sees Spider-Man. And then they start to fight. Okay, so the Vulture takes Spider-Man and he puts him in the silo. And then Vulture says, now that I have disposed of temporary interruption, I'll carry out step 2 of my master plan. Okay, so as Spider-Man is almost drowning, he uses his webs to get out of the silo. Sorry, I meant to say he jumped. Now that he did a huge jump and got out of the silo before he drowned, Spider-Man used the camera and built a belt and made it a part of his costume. So every time, well, from now on, when he fights the bad guys, he can take pictures of on the go. And now he builds this little contraption so he can make sure that the Vulture doesn't fly anymore. And then he says, it's time for me and the Vulture to meet. Okay, now almost said Spider-Man. Peter Parker calls J. Jonah Jameson and tells him that he has pictures of the Vulture. And then he says he wants to see Jameson like as soon as possible. And then his secretary says, sorry, Mr. Jameson cannot see anybody right now. He's having an important conference. And then Peter says, these pictures are sensational, great, but how a kid like you... Oh, sorry, I said Peter by accident. Mr. Jameson says, these pictures are sensational, great, but how'd a kid like you get them? And then Peter says, sorry, sir, I'll sell them to you on one condition, that you'll never ask me that question. And remember, it's because that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and he can roam the city without anyone knowing who he is, and he can take pictures secretly. That's what the secret is. For those of you who didn't know. Okay, and then the next day at school, they wanted Peter to come and watch the uh, the vulture would dare try to do anything. Then Peter decided to go to like an alley or something so he could, kind of like when you're watching Batman or like, like some other superhero show, like where they go into like an alley where they like, sorry, I didn't mean to say it twice, like where they go like into an alley and then they suit up. Yeah, that's I'm pretty sure that's like what Peter did. Because I'm pretty sure he's all like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't be here right now. I gotta make up something that I have to do right now and go do it." Then he goes into the alley that he has to go into, and then he goes and suits up as Spider Man. Okay, and then helicopters are following the robbery that's supposedly gonna happen. Then they got officers everywhere, and then they got um, somebody from a truck having it secured. And then they're all like, "Where the heck is Vulture? Better not be in the alley that Spider Man's in. That'd be sus." And then Vulture just comes out of nowhere and takes the briefcase. And then Vulture's talking to himself right now before the startled officers can fire. Oh, sorry, never mind. Oh, yeah. I'll be miles away before they can even lift that manhole cover, and they'll never know which of these twisting tunnels I'm flying through. Except for Spider Man in that alleyway that he's supposedly in. Sorry, I'm not even trying. I'm just trying to be funny, but I'm not even trying to be. Okay, and then the vulture flew out of the subway, and everyone's all like, "Hey, look, it's the vulture!" And then everyone's all like, "Hey, look, it's Spider Man in that alleyway." I'm so sorry. I know I'm trying to be funny, and I don't mean to, but no, seriously. Um, Everyone's all like, "Hey, look, it's a vulture," and telling everyone where, even if Spider Man was like on the open way, he could see him, and the cops are there, and like everyone is there. Oh, look, see, I told you we're going in some like random alleyway to get into a Spider Man costume. And it says, meanwhile, learning what has occurred, Peter Parker managed to find a desperate alley. gosh. I wasn't. I told you I wasn't just trying to be funny. Manages to find a desperate alley and then moving with blinding speed. He did it. He fooled everyone, even me. But I'll find him if I can get some new pictures of him now. I'll be able to name my own price for them. Okay. Okay. Now Spider-Man's up on the building looking for Vulture, and he's like, the Vulture is like right in front of his face, and somehow Spider-Man can't see him. And then Spider-Man starts to swing toward him. Oh, okay. I thought he just like. Okay, so and then to get rid of Spider-Man, he starts looping. He does like a couple of loops, and then he thinks that'll put him behind him. But instead, it puts him in front of him. No, it puts him in behind Spider-Man. That's what I meant to say. And then obviously, Spider-Man's obviously Spider-Man's spider sense goes off, and even though he's behind him, come on, it's obvious, Spider-Man. But anyways, forget me talking. So Spider-Man's spider sense goes off, and then he's behind him. He's gonna like kick him or something. And then he spooks him. Okay. So, okay. Spider-Man's about to fall off, and Vulture is about to fly away, and then Spider-Man lives onto his leg. And then Spider-Man's all like, I got you! And Vulture's trying to fight him off. Kind of looks like Spider-Man lost his camera. But we all know he didn't lose his camera. And then he pulls out this thing that he made earlier. And then he hit him, or like injected him with it. And he was all like, oh, I couldn't use my wings. And he's also like, oh, you killed us both. And Spider-Man's like, oh, the briefcase, I gotta catch it. Okay, and then we pan to Vulture on the roof. He's down and out, and then the cops come. And then they end up arresting him. And then there's Spider-Man in the background taking pictures of him. Then, as the next day dawns, Jane. Oh, damn it, I found it again. Jameson is looking at the pictures, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I love these! They're like so great." And he's still wondering, like, oh, how did you get these pictures? I want to know your freaking secret identity. Are you Spider Man? Please tell me if you're Spider Man. Freaking know you're Spider Man. But no, he's like, okay. So these are great, and I love them. And then my head is getting all dizzy. Then he took the money home to Aunt May so he could buy her stuff. And then Vulture was left to rot in prison. The end.